In this video, we are going to discuss the rise and fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer, S-H-I-R-E-R. Of course, we're also going to discuss how it relates to Antifa, the brown shirts, and all these others. I'm not wearing this as an agreement. I do not agree with the Nazis, okay? But this is a very good book if you want to understand how... Oh man, I just don't like these people, that's all. How these Nazis were able to even gain power. I mean, how in the hell, you may ask yourself, how the hell does someone like Hitler even get power? You read this book and you will understand it. And it is unbelievable how he got power. I'll explain it this way. He had as much chance of being where he ended up as I do. As I would have getting control of Germany and doing all this stuff. Which is pretty much, you would think, zero. But somehow he managed it. And you read the book, it's not going to be a somehow. It's just he was very persuasive. And I'll show you something and how you know how Antifa likes to use violence to shut people up that they disagree with. Of course, make sure you read that book I mentioned before, Demagogues and Demagoguery. I did a moron review of that. You can check that out, please. And of course, for free, please subscribe. You need to subscribe, and you should also watch my other videos. Here we are. We're going to page 43. Here it is. The brown shirts. Hitler's brown shirts. Hitler himself, watch this. These uniformed rowdies, not content to keep order at Nazi meetings, soon took to breaking up those of the other parties. Antifa. Antifa attacks anyone they disagree with. They consider everyone they disagree with as a Nazi. If you're conservative or on the right, you're a Nazi. Even liberals they'll call Nazis. Even blacks and Jews have called Nazis. Once in 1921, Hitler personally led his stormtroopers in an attack on a meeting which was to be addressed by Bavarian Federalists by the name of Brownshirts, who received a beating. For this, Hitler was sentenced to 3 months in jail, one of which he served. This was his first experience in jail, and he emerged from it somewhat of a martyr and more popular than ever. It's all right, Hitler boasted to the police. We got what we wanted. Brownshirts did not speak. Exactly how Antifa behaves. As Hitler had told an audience some months before, the National Socialist movement will in the future ruthlessly prevent, if necessary, by force, all meetings or lectures that are likely to distract the minds of our fellow countrymen. Doesn't that sound like Antifa? Isn't it amazing how that sounds like the far left? You know, I'm not picturing everyone on the left or everyone on the right. Hitler did not like people on the left. He also attacked people on the right. When you read this book, he was far right. He wasn't what you call a conservative, more reactionary. On the far right. And he did eventually attack people on the right as well as on the left. He was against anyone he disagreed with. If you disagreed with him, you were going to be attacked by him. There's just no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Disgusting human being he was. And Antifa follow his footsteps. I'm sure they get his lessons from these bastards. You should see how he managed to take Austria and then Czechoslovakia. He claimed basically in Austria he needed violence. He couldn't, if there was peace, he had no power. So, of course, he had his own brown shirts and everybody make sure that, they were fighting. He had to have fights. And these Antifa types, at this time, were more than happy to help him out. And, of course, evil does not share power. And evil always turns on their comrades. Well, these brown shirts, one day on June 30th, 1934, Hitler turned on them. Several of his brown shirt supporters and leaders he had killed. He made sure they were killed. They were all slaughtered in one night. Some innocent people also got slaughtered. Antifa says, well, that's fine. Innocent people get beaten by us. Hitler thought the same thing. Didn't care. Because evil people are like that. I'm not saying all of Antifa is evil. I'm sure there's some decent people that are members of Antifa that really are trying to prevent actual Nazis, you know, and they probably mean well. I'm not going to label all of them. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that type of person. I'm not. But that is what they did. That night, they attacked their own people. Because just like the communists did the same thing. Because that's why Stalin had that term, you know, useful idiot, when referring to Alvarez, whatever the heck his last name is. You know, he's the guy that a lot of these communist people these days, they have the iron and sickle, you know, and then hammer and sickle, and they have his picture on their shirts, and they love the guy, worshiping him, even though he was a mass murderer, killed thousands of people, and he ended up on his knees crying and begging for his life when he was in Bolivia. But hey, they ignore that, and Stalin called him a useful idiot. There's a reason why these type of people are called useful idiots. They're even dumber than I am, which is kind of difficult to be, but, you know, that happens. Of course, you have Chamberlain. I'm not going to go through the whole book, tell you what it's about, but I want to, you know, at least whet your appetite so you want to purchase this book. It is a must-have to understand how evil people like this get in power. But anyways, Chamberlain was basically, I know a lot of you are going to get pissed off when I say this, but the Obama of his time. He was the Obama of his time. If he was Trump, probably wouldn't have turned out much better since, you know. But either way, actually Trump probably would have stopped it because he would not have been so willing to negotiate. I don't like Trump that much either. Okay, I'm not a Trump supporter. I did not vote for the guy. But I'm just being honest. When you read this book, you'll see what I'm saying. And if you look up and read about Obama, you'll see what I'm saying, you know. Chamberlain kept trying to appease Obama. Sorry about that. Obama's not a bad guy. He wasn't a bad. I didn't think he was a bad president, but anyways, Chamberlain kept trying to appease Hitler. You know, with Austria and everything, and then with Czechoslovakia. France and Britain sold out Czechoslovakia, the Sudetenland. They told Czechoslovakia, you gotta give that back to Germany. Of course, sure, they didn't know history because Sudetenland belonged to Austria, which of course the Germans had taken over. And then the whole time, you know, for a couple of months, there was tension throughout Europe. There'd be another world war. Hitler was boasting that he could win it. And then, of course, the British and French, you know, they knew they did not want another war. But Chamberlain was just, you know, too willing to sell out. And they decided, of course, Hitler's like, well, we are not meeting with the Russians. And the Russians already had a pact with Czechoslovakia, so did France. And then Hitler's own generals turn on him, because not all of them, but many of them, because they did not want the war, because they knew Germany would get smashed. Eventually, of course, as you can imagine, they sell out Sudetenland. Czechoslovakia had to give up the Sudetenland. And of course, that made Poland and Hungary want to take some more land from Czechoslovakia. And of course, Hitler got the best part, because it gave him hundreds of thousands of more people for his military, as well as a whole lot of coal, steel, and all the other raw materials he needed to build up his army. Which, of course, you all know, since that Czechoslovakia incident happened in 1938, you know what happened a year later. And then, of course, he looked at his German front, because he was getting ready for the invasion of Czechoslovakia, and then he realized he didn't have to. He realized if France and Great Britain had kept their promise to Czechoslovakia, they would have ran right through Germany. And of course, the people in France and Germany France and Britain were, of course, worried about the Germans bombing, you know, Paris and London. The French didn't want their beautiful city of Paris destroyed, and I can understand that. And then it turned out the Nazis at that time had no ability to even do it. They could have stopped Hitler. Even he admitted it. His generals admitted it during the Nuremberg trials. There were so many missed opportunities. Even before he got into power. There's one incident called the beer hall putsh, which you're going to love. You're going to love it. First off, Hitler would have hated these neo-Nazis that are alive today. He would not have supported them. So don't think that he would have. But anyways, the beer hall push. He didn't want to, he himself did not, he wanted a bloodless revolution when he took Germany. But anyways, when, you know, the incident on the bridge happens, somebody fires a shot. Most people say it was Hitler now. Most likely it was, because he's that stupid. But anyways, as the shots are being fired and people are getting shot, a couple of people died on his side, and I don't think any cops died. Hopefully not. But anyways, what do you think Hitler did? He didn't get shot. What do you think he did? He ran away and left everybody. And that's when he ended up going to prison. One of the guys that was there, I think, I can't spell his name. Goer, something, blah, 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 blah. He ended up getting shot. And he stayed with the Nazis for a while. He ended up getting shot. A Jewish banker saved his ass. And even smuggled him out of Germany. And of course, we all know how thankful they were to the Jews, right? They always got to have a bad guy, you know, us versus them. They're the bad guys. They're evil. They're bad. Like now with the Me Too movement and all this stuff, you know. And yeah, it's wrong to sexual harass and attack women. I agree, but you don't see them backing up men are being sexually harassed. You don't see that, and you won't see that. You will not see that. I mean, look at me. I'm ugly as hell. I am freaking hideous ugly. I've had my butt pinched by females. I had them rub their bodies against me, especially when I was like in my 20s. But I'm ugly as hell. But we have to take it. Women don't. That's not right. But you know, it's always like that. You know, now it's men and white people that are the bad guys. You know, these people, that's why you need to read that book, Demagoguery and Democracy. Read that book, please. She goes in length explaining what it is. And it's a very small book. And I did a moron review. This is one right before this video. Thanks. Bye. Hope you enjoy the video. Please make sure you subscribe. You have to subscribe. You have to watch my other videos. Thanks. It's mandatory. Just kidding.